Laser sights can deter threats and aid in quick target identification, enhancing your ability to protect your family, home, and country. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
#1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Boy, are you lucky. And I'm lucky as well. Hey, by the way, welcome back. I'm Tom Gresham. It's Gun Talk. The reason you're lucky is because not often do you get to spend time with a pioneer. That's not me. Not often do you get to spend time with a legend. No, again, sorry, not me. But our next guest is a pioneer in the self-defense world. One of the very first to write about self-defense with firearms. One of the very first to realize that people who carry guns or use guns in self-defense need legal training. Some almost 40 years ago, started training people on the legal side of that. I wrote the definitive book, which of course have been a lot of them since then, but it's still the ones that people who are in the know say you need a copy of, In the Gravest Extreme, by Massad Ayoob. Joins us right now. He's got a new book out, but he's got some other things, some revolutionary, some interesting data for us. Massad Ayoob joins us. Hey, how you doing, partner?
Hey, it's good to hear from you, Tom. I hope you and your listeners are doing well.
Well, I'm doing well on this side. I was just looking, holy cow, it's been almost 40 years since you started Lethal Force Institute. Now, of course, you've got the Massad Ayoob group. 40 years ago, how in the world did you look at that and say, people are going to need not only to know how to shoot, but how to handle themselves on the legal side of things?
Well, Tom, it went back more than 40 years. In 1960, I was 12 years old, working in my dad's jewelry store. And because it was a robbery-prone type of business, part of the deal was if you're going to work there, you're going to carry a gun. My father had started me shooting when I was a little boy. But I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I'm 12 years old. This is for real. I've got a loaded .45 on. Rules. Somebody's going to need to give me the rules here. And there was nothing, Tom. Back then, there were tons of books on how to win a gunfight. Not a bloody thing for the ordinary citizen on when can you take someone at gunpoint, when do you cross the line and have to draw the hammer. You know, and I remember talking with, the chief of police in town, who was one of our customers, a judge, a few lawyers, and they told me how to look stuff up in the legal libraries. And I remember thinking back then, somebody ought to write a book about this side of it. And when I grow up, if nobody has, maybe I will. Well,
yeah,
by the time
you were
I grew
elected.
Up, nobody had, so I did, and here we are.
Yeah, and I mean, In the Gravest Extreme is still considered one of the definitive definitive works in this field, and it still holds up very well. However, and I have to say, we know a lot more now. We have more data to work with, and you've been working for another umpty-ump decades since then to develop this information. Would that be fair?
Yeah, for 30-some years, I've been an expert witness for the courts in shooting cases, homicide cases, officer-involved shootings. We did the update to Gravest Extreme, my book Deadly Force, a couple of years ago, and that's available from FW Media. And there's lots of folks out there now that are teaching this. Andrew Branca has an excellent book, Law of Self-Defense, and he also has a column, a class on that. And your listeners can find that at lawofselfdefense.com. My training is available at MassadAyoobGroup.com, and we teach that stuff around the country.
And you have the new Gun Digest book of Concealed Carry, Volume 2.
Yeah, they said we want advanced concealed carry, and I said, heck, I thought the first book was kind of advanced, but okay, there is some new stuff out. Okay. So that one encompasses some of the popular trends, the carry optics, appendix carry, which has come back into vogue, When do you want a pocket gun, and when do you really want to relegate that to backup and have something a little bit more accessible?
All right, let me ask you. You just said the appendix carry has come back into vogue. For a lot of folks, they're going, "What are you talking about? This is a new thing, man."
Oh, they must be the new people.
Yes, they're always new people.
If you look at the 19th century, carrying toward the front of the waistband was very, very common in the Old West. And in particularly the mid-20th century, you saw a lot of the detectives on NYPD, for example, would carry the gun just to one side of the belly button. It's very, very easy to protect because the hands tend to be in front of the body. Nobody can come up behind you and effectively grab the gun from you. And because the hands are closer to the gun to start, it can be very quick. It does have some downsides to it, of course, too.
Well, let me ask you about that. I mean, as long as we're there, because people ask me all the time, and I don't carry that way. I think body size, shape has something to do with that. I'm one of those guys that it may be a completely misplaced concern, but I look at that and go, I think there are times when that thing is pointing at femoral artery or parts of me that I don't want it to point at.
Well, I carry a gun so nobody else will point a gun at that part of me. I don't care to do it myself. For me personally, I still carry strong side. That said, one of the downsides of appendix carry is you obviously can't have an open front garment or the gun's no longer concealed. So it's generally under an untucked T-shirt or polo or something like that.
Right.
And that means we in law enforcement, we spent many, many years getting away from the old damn flap holsters that you needed one hand to pull the flap up and the other to grab the gun, and you might only have one hand available.
Right, you may be holding on to the bad guy, keeping him off of you with the other hand.
Yeah, and an appendix carry, where you get the speed, is the one hand clearing and the other hand gaining access. If about half the time that other hand is going to be involved in something else, you better make sure you're doing a whole lot of practice on using the one hand to both clear the garment and then dive down and grab the pistol. And that does not tend to be as fast as clearing an open front sport coat or something like that and drawing from the hip. So there's always the balance there. There's always the scales of balance.
All right. You were recently writing about something. It's an incredible project that I want us to talk about. Tell you what, and when we come back from this break in just a minute, let's talk about the idea of using lasers, iron sights, and red dot sights on defensive pistols and the study that was done and what we found out, okay?
Sure.
All right, we'll do that. We'll be right back with more with Massad Ayoob.
Nosler has been a leader in bullets and ammunition for decades and keeps growing with new product introductions that follow this tradition. Accurate, highly effective bullets and ammo for long-range shooting, precision rifle competition, and big game hunting. To be the first to hear about new product releases and promotions, follow Nosler on Facebook and Instagram and become part of the conversation. You won't settle, and neither will we. Nosler.com.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. The time is now to band together. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
Responsible owners control access to their firearms, even when they may need them in a hurry. Liberty Safe, the nation's leader in gun safes, offers 6 models of handgun vaults. Strong, simple to use, open with a key or fingerprint. Put your handgun in the compact vault, lock it away until you need it. Then it's in your hand almost instantly. Pick the Liberty Safe handgun vault that's right for you. LibertySafeHD.com.
All right, back with you. We're talking with Massad Ayoob, of course, a gun writer, a firearms trainer, a self-defense expert, law enforcement background, expert witness in self-defense shooting cases, as well as being a lot of things people don't know about you, Mas. One of them is that you're a competitive shooter and have done that on a very high level through the years.
Well, I've been lucky. You spend enough time with anything, you get fairly confident with it.
Yeah, you've been lucky. I like that. I do like a dozen things well, but yeah, I've been lucky. Okay. Some people are just exceptional, my friend, and you definitely are one of them. Now, let me ask you, you just were writing about this study done, I believe it was out in Austin, Texas, and they're doing like...
Carl Wren, R-E-H-N. Carl is one of our top instructors and thinkers in this discipline nationwide. Your students can access him at krtraining.com. He has a blog there that has lots of excellent information, including on this topic, and his training is outstanding. What Carl did when the carry optics came out, the red dot sights that were small enough to put in a concealed carry pistol and actually conceal the darn thing.
Because the competitive shooters were using them and using them well, but everybody said, yeah, that's well and great, but how's that going to work for concealed carry in a defensive situation?
Yeah, and the big matches like the Yankee Cup, USPSA, Open Class, the sights they were using were the size of Campbell soup cans, and you'd need Dracula's cape to conceal them. With these, what you have, it's a smaller window, so there are distinctly different dynamics involved. Certainly, what he found with a study of well over 100 people that lasted about a year and a half, studying speed, accuracy, etc. All the guns were Smith & Wesson core pistols, some with iron sights, some with lasers, and some with carry optics. What he found was that at distance, almost everybody shot better with the red dot. The reason being you could see the dot, the aiming index, at the exact same focal plane that you could see the target. And we've known from over a century that was one of the great advantages of the telescopic sight on a rifle.
Exactly.
What he also found in close was that most folks tended to be actually a little bit slower with the carry optics. The reason being that with the much smaller window than you had on the competition gun sights, it took longer for the eye to find the dot. When you're coming up from a concealed draw, the big difference is as soon as the gun is coming up, higher than the chest, the eye can pick up the front of the gun, the front sight, and begin the index.
Exactly.
When you've got to find that little dot in that little window, you can't really see it until it's already at eye level. And one of the things that came out of that, and virtually everyone else in the business agrees, if you're going to go with carry optics, use backup iron sights. Your gun's going to need the high sights that you'd have like on a suppressor-equipped pistol.
The other thing I would throw this out, because this has been my experience. I experienced exactly what you talk about when I first started trying to draw and come up with a red dot sight on a pistol. It's like you're kind of wiggling the gun around and moving your head around. You're trying to find the dot because you don't yet have the, whether it's muscle memory or whatever it is, the training to come up and orient it exactly the same each way that allows you to see through that. I would think you would need hundreds of draws to groove that so that when the gun comes up, you are, in fact, looking through that sight and you can see that dot.
Yeah, you really do, Tom. And the hundreds of draws, most of them, of course, can be done dry fire.
Exactly.
But two things you want to be looking for. One of them, as I said, the backup irons. And the reason is, as the whole gun is coming up, you'll see the front sight before you can see the window of the carry optic. But if you've done it enough subconsciously you're going to find yourself, that front sight is going to guide the gun and the eye into alignment with the red dot. The other thing I found is something I developed back in the 90s that I called bridge index. I tell folks that one-handed or two-handed, so long as the gun arm is locked, it can be a modified Weaver stance with a support arm bent, but the gun arm will have to be extended. Get yourself lined up on the target and bring your head forward and down and find some spot where the side of your jawline contacts either your shoulder or the upper part of the bicep of the shooting arm. Mm-hmm. That becomes a felt index. Groove that in to where when that particular part of the jaw touches that particular part of the arm, you know the sights are dead in line with the pupil of your eye. And getting to that felt index will get you a fraction of a second on every draw to the shot on target a little bit faster. Combining those two things, the high backup iron sights to go with the carry optic, mm-hmm. and the bridge index of, I use, because I like to shoot head and body aggressively forward. For me, it's I'm right-handed, so the right lower mandible is contacting the upper part of the right bicep. As soon as I feel that, I know I'm on target, even if my eyes are closed.
All right, he also tested...
The two of those are going to save a whole lot of time for learning how to work the carry optics at speed.
Now, Carl also included in this test, and this is an extensive study, he included lasers with this, did he not?
He did. He did.
So what do you find out there?
Most of us have found in daylight, you're looking for the dot out there. Picture the dot as an extension of your front sight, mm-hmm. but it's an extension that's 7 yards, 10 yards long. It's going to take a little bit of wobbling to get it to the right spot. Mm-hmm. Where the laser really comes into its own is for the person who has serious visual disadvantages at close range. That is, they can see their target, but they can't see their sights. And night shooting. In night shooting, without question, the laser is a huge advantage.
Yeah, low light or no light, laser's huge. We just put 3 people through some testing with lasers ourselves. Somebody who had a lot of experience, former law enforcement, somebody who had basically no experience. And it was really interesting to see. And we had them doing things like, as you might expect, shooting and moving and shooting behind barricades and all that, and going with iron sights and then going with laser. One of the things we found was that the first-time person who had almost no experience, it was night and day how much better she shot with a laser.
Yeah, and another thing that a lot of people miss with a laser sight, it's a tremendous training tool.
Yes.
Tell them, hold that sight dead on, dry fire, and without moving the dot, stroke the trigger through.
Because it'll go off target.
It's like you're getting a visual computer readout of whether or not you're jerking the trigger. And it's one of the few real shortcuts there is to developing good trigger control.
Exactly. It's a fascinating study. I really appreciate knowing about this. So where are you off to now? You're still you're traveling the country doing your training?
Yep. We take a sabbatical from mid-December to end of January. And end of January, we'll be teaching in Charlotte, and then we go on the regular rest of the year tour. We'll be teaching with Tiger McKee in Alabama, and basically teaching all over the country. In fact, Marty Hayes and I are doing a deadly force instructor class for Carl ran at his school in Austin at the beginning of February.
Nice. Okay, I was just out in Austin, and we see if I can time it. I need to get over and see Carl. I've not met him before, so I want to go by and see his place.
Wonderful guy. You'll really enjoy it.
Very good.
He'll have a lot of tips to share with you for your video shows.
Excellent. Well, Mass, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure getting a chance to chat with you.
Likewise, Tom, and thanks for all that you've done for the gun owners' civil rights movement.
Well, I appreciate that very much. You take care. Massad Ayoob, check it out. It's MassadaYoob, MassadAyoobGroup.com. Now, let's see here. Harry has been on hold forever and ever. Thank you, Harry, for your patience. You're now up, and we were talking about 1911s. Hey, Harry. Harry put his phone down. He's listening to the radio show, and he's waiting. He's listening to the delay. And, well, I'll tell you what. We'll come back and pick Harry up. He said, well, I don't mind being on hold because I like to listen to Massad. Well, yeah, who doesn't? I mean, come on, it's Massad Ayoob. Yeah, for those who don't know, I mean, Mass has been one of the pioneers in this. And I don't know what it is about trainers. They're, how do we say that? They tend to pick on each other. And so it's always interesting to me. Well, this trainer doesn't do that, or this guy does that. Give me a break. Go get some training. It's like I keep telling people, buy a good belt, like the caller said, and then go get some serious training. And now, serious training is not, it's not a concealed carry class. It's good to have a concealed carry class, but don't confuse that with real training where you're going to be shooting and moving. And, well, here's the question for you. If your class does not include malfunction drills, when the gun goes click, when it's supposed to go bang, and what do I do with that? Tap rack, how can I, or to do speed reloads and all the rest of it, then it's not a serious self-defense with handguns class. You know what I would love to know? For those who have, and a lot of folks listening have been to various classes, like with Tiger McKee, and Massad said he's going to teach a class with Tiger. That would be something to see. Because now you've got Massad's voice and his accent, and Tiger's Alabama accent. It would be like the ultimate clash of cultures. It would be a hoot and a half to experience that. So I may have to run over and check that out. If you don't know Tiger McKee, just outside of Gunnersville, Alabama, terrific trainer and just a really nice guy. His website is guns, let's see, Shoot Right, SHOOTRITE, shootright.org for Tiger McKee. So if you're over in that part of the world and you're looking for a good trainer, he's one. But all these new trainers are popping up. I did not know about Carl in Austin, Texas. That's good to know. By the way, our number here is 866-TALK-GUN. Wayne's going to be on hold with us, and we're going to see if we can get Harry back in just a little bit. But we have room for you if you'd like to join us. We're talking about 1911s. Maybe this is the year that you finally break down and get one. If you've never owned one, I personally think you should. If you are a 1911 lover, I'm asking you to help me explain the benefits. Call in and tell people why they should, in fact, consider getting a 1911 in the year 2018. It's an old design, but it's still one of the best.
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, we're back with the 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. That'll get you in there. By the way, we have a lot of ways for you to communicate with us. We have email, of course, tom@guntalk.com. You can watch our shows on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, all of those things. You can watch we have 4 new episodes of First Person Defender up on YouTube, Facebook, on our website, guntalk.com, on Roku, Amazon Fire, on and on and on. In fact, you know what? Just go to guntalk.com. You can see everything we do there. We also get these emails, and I love this one. Guy says, this is Matt. He says, this is not about guns, but it's about security, because security is more than guns. He says, I ordered and just installed the Blink security camera system you recommended, and I got my Gun Talk 10% off. He says, thanks. He says, I've worked with IT, electronics, and websites for many years, but this has got to be the easiest ever to install and use. Can't say enough. It'll even tell me the temperature. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, I've been talking about this Blink system. Here's the deal. Well, these guys came to me from Blink Camera, and they said, yeah, we'd like to advertise on your show. I said, well, okay, maybe. Send me a couple of them, and let's try them out. Because here's the deal. I was not going to say I used them if I didn't use them. I was not going to say I liked them if I didn't like them. Simple as that. I said, now, I won't badmouth them, but I just won't talk about them if you send me these and they don't work. And so they said, well, okay, cool, we'll send them to you. So they did, and I started using them, and as I've been telling you, I mean, like 5 minutes and it's set up and it works, and you're going, wow. I can see video on my phone from the house, or in our case, the apartment, while we're fixing up the house after the fire. I can turn it on and off with my phone. I can get alerts from my phone. It's got motion detection. You can see what's going on outside. You can see who's picking up packages or leaving packages. You can see the critters in your backyard. It'll even tell you the temperature, as Matt said. It's a pretty cool system, and they're small and easy to work, and you don't pay a monthly fee. And in terms of security, it's really nice to have that kind of peace of mind thing going for you. So they're always there. Anyway, I appreciate Matt writing in. Here's the pitch, because we're going to give you 10% off, or they are, if you use the Gun Talk code. And they already say that their cameras, they sell 3 of their cameras for what the other guys charge for 1. You go to blinkprotect.com/guntalk. Again, blinkprotect.com/guntalk. You got to put in Gun Talk. It's all one word, lower or uppercase, in the discount field at checkout, and you get the extra 10% off. That's blinkprotect.com/guntalk. All right, Harry, we're going to try you again. Line 3 in Big Rapids, Michigan. Hey, Harry, you with us?
Yes, I am. It was funny. I got cut off, and the radio station dumped your program for another program. I was PO'd.
Well,
well, anyway, I'll make it quicker. I've been carrying a Series 70 1911 for about 20 years now, and it's like a glove. I pick it up. I know exactly. It comes up. It cocks. It fires, and it's just one motion. I use Hornady Plus P hollow points. I use PMC 45 ammunition, for practice and stuff. And I put a lot of rounds down the tube. The only thing I found, you mentioned about buying ammunition. I've tried some of the aluminum cased ones,
right?
And they stovepipe in my gun.
Yes, sometimes that happens.
Stovepipe.
Yeah, because what happens is the aluminum tends to be a little stickier.
Yep.
And if your chamber is not really polished, sometimes aluminum case ammo will not function well. It's kind of a gun-to-gun issue there, but at least you figured it out.
Oh yeah. That's back in the back shelf. It might be used in a Thompson someday. But anyway, I really love the gun. I did buy a Ruger SR9E simply because the weight in the feel feels just like a 1911.
Right.
But as far as carrying I carry it. It's heavy. I got a forward tilt outside the belt and the holster. But I found that if I get these suspenders that have the Y shot, so you just suspend it above the gun, you can put the gun and 2 clips and carry it, and it's comfortable, and no one even knows you got it.
All right, so there's Harry. He is a 1911 fan from a long time, been carrying for 20 years, you said. Thank you, Harry. Line 2, Wayne is with us out of Duluth. I combined the Duluth and Wayne there. Hey, Wayne, what's up?
Hey, Tom. I was just calling. Keller Range Report, I called, I remember a few months back, I think it was at, when you were at NRA show, you were talking to the guys from Savage.
Right.
And made me think to call in. I'm usually working during your program, but figured I had some time today, and I call in and
sure.
Let you know that I had this old pistol that used to be my grandpa's. It's a Savage 1907.
Yeah.
So I remember listening to the guys from Savage hinting at, getting back into the handgun market, and I was kind of surprised they didn't mention it. I don't know if you'd ever...
No, so what is a Savage 1907? I don't know that gun.
Yeah, it's an old stainless. It was Savage's bid for the military pistol back when Colt got it. It was made for the civilian market afterwards. Came in 32 ACP, 380, and 45. I got one. My grandpa had the one in 32. It was marketed as 10 rounds fast was their slogan.
Do you shoot it?
Yeah, I shot it a few times. 32 ammo. I haven't gone out of my way a lot to find some. But shoot once in a while. It's nice, stainless. It's shoots real nice.
You say it is stainless steel?
Yeah, it's all steel.
Wow.
It's got some old plastic grips on it, but but yeah, it's just a gun that I find most people haven't heard of.
Right. No, I had not, but I appreciate that. I'm looking it up even as we speak, so I'm learning as we go here. That's very cool. Well, it's nice that you also have this connection, that goes through the family. That's one of the things that's wonderful about guns. We can hold on to them, and we have this, the thing we can hand down, and we've got the stories that go with it. So I appreciate that, Wayne. Thank you for passing that along. That's pretty cool. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, got to go to the break here, and then we will come back. We have Rob, we have Kevin, and we have room for you if you'd like to join us. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. Be right back with more Gun Talk.
You know and trust Springfield Armory. Now that trusted gunmaker has an AR-15 rifle with all the features you want. The Saint features a mid-length gas system, a heavy tungsten buffer, and a 16-inch chrome Molly barrel with a 1-in-8 twist rate. Plus, the Saint has Bravo Company's Key Mod handguard, the next generation of America's personal defense rifle. See video of the Saint in action at springfield-armory.com. That's springfield-armory.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Back with you. Let's go talk to Robert on line 1 out of Arkansas. Robert, you got some experience there that I don't have. Talk to me.
Yes, sir. I'm in my early 50s. I'm 53 years old, and I used to smoke heavy when I was young.
Smoking marijuana?
Not so much now. Yes, sir. Okay. And not so much now because of my work. I mean, it is what it is. But I put it on the same analogy of being on the road with somebody that's drunk compared to somebody that's high. Somebody that's high is going to drive a whole lot slower and be a lot less aggressive. And to my knowledge, I don't know of any, beating your wife, pulling guns on your children, or hurting anybody, domestic violence type stuff over marijuana, where alcohol and other drugs, heroin, whatever, opioids, has just tore up the family.
Well, let me ask you then, how do you feel about as these states are legalized, we have more and more states legalizing marijuana, are you okay with that?
Yeah, again, because of my age and the way I grew up, I believe that should be an individual's choice. But at the same time, I understand it's a federal deal.
Right.
Again, liberty is where I stand on personal choice, and even with states' rights.
Okay, well, and as I mentioned, I appreciate that. Like I say, that's an experience I don't have. The issue that we have, is we as gun owners, is that we have states that are legalizing marijuana, and the feds have not, and it is against the law on a federal basis to be a marijuana user and to own guns. So we have a serious conflict, and I think this is going to be a major story for us throughout 2018. We're going to hear of a lot of cases of police going to the doors of gun owners and saying, we're here to take all your guns away because you have a medical marijuana card. I know it's going to happen. It's not a case of I think it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen because it's going to continue to happen because it's already happening. It has happened in a number of places. So this is going to be a real big deal. It's going to be something for us to watch. Line 4, Rob's with us out of Hays, Kansas. Rob, what's on your mind?
Hey, I was just going to tell you, you're talking about 1911s, and I've just been a big 1911 fan for a long time. And they're not only fun to collect, but they're great to shoot. I've shot IDPA with the Colt Special Combat Government, and it's hard chrome. It's very accurate, and it's as smooth as glass. It's the smoothest action I've really ever seen with the hard chrome. And joined the Army in '75, and in the mid-'80s, early '80s, I was in the Army Reserve. We had several A1s, Ithacas, and we didn't have any Colts, Ithacas and Remington Rands, and I could tell that they'd been reworked probably 3 or 4 times. So the ones that have come out of CMP, I'm guessing, aren't going to be real collectible. It'd be more of a shooter. And I picked up a December of '43 A1 off a gun broker, and I put an Allen match barrel in it, and it shoots great, and it's fun to shoot.
Isn't that amazing that just these old guns shoot so well?
Yeah, and it's very reliable, and it's just, and I put, I'm the 1911 as opposed to the A1 fan, so I took a milled 1911 trigger in it and put a flat mainspring housing, and it goes along with all the other 1911s I have, and it's just a blast to shoot. And if you want to do the wild bunch shooting and cowboy action, it might be something available for guys that are getting into that.
I just had a thought as you're talking there. When you talk about, take the parts off and you can make a 1911 what you want to be. In a way, the 1911 was kind of the precursor to the AR, which is what we do with ARs. We take stuff off of them and put them together and make it what we want.
Yeah, you can do lots of different configurations, and you can put a mag well on them, or you can do different adjustable triggers, and like I said, they're just a whole lot of fun to shoot. And the trigger, I don't know of any gun out there that has a better trigger than the 1911.
It really is about the trigger, and people who have not shot one before, they're thinking, and look, the polymer guns have good triggers for what they are, but but none of them, in my experience, none of them so far are as good as a good 1911 trigger. And once you start shooting one of those, you're going, wow, this gun is really fun to shoot. I mean, it's an old design, but they just flat work.
The trigger has a lot to do with accuracy too.
Oh,
and
sure.
if you have a good trigger in a 1911, it may not be as accurate. An older, looser, like the 1911 vintage guns, might not be as accurate or as well fitted as far as tightness as some of the newer polymer guns. But with the awesome trigger you can have in it, you probably can shoot it more accurately than the polymer guns, just to the fact that the trigger is better in it than the
yeah. Well, you just shoot them better. They're more shootable. Yeah. Look, I appreciate it. Good information. That's what I was looking for, is help me explain to people why, if you're not a 1911 owner, you should be. And I think maybe we talked about 2017 being the year of the revolver, and it was for a lot of people. They picked up their first revolver, or maybe another one. I'm thinking maybe 2018 is a 1911 year. I think it's a time for us to discover this brand new, I can't even say it with a straight face, this design that's actually a 1905 design, and it was adopted by the military in 1911, not 2011, 1911. So 117, 100 and a lot, Jim says, 100 and a lot years ago. It's an old design, but it's been around forever. That was my first semi-automatic pistol, was a 1911. I shot competition with one with those little bitty nothing sights on them. I was never a threat to anybody as far as competitors, but I was out there shooting and having a ball. Just a stock 1911 and just having fun. Packmeyer rubber grips on that thing. God, that takes me back. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's tons of fun. And if you have not had a chance to get your hands on a 1911, I would encourage you to do so. If you have a 1911, or if you are a big-time 1911 fan, invite somebody to go to the range and take some of your old guns out and let them try those, okay? Because you'll be doing them a favor. And also, honestly, when they take that pistol and the first time they shoot it, watch their faces. Watch the face, and they go, wow, that's really cool. And they experience that trigger and experience the recoil, and they go, okay, now I get it. I see what you guys have been talking about all the time. 1911s, I think it's the gun of the future. That sounds so silly, but it really is. If I had to take my pick, probably that would be the one I would stick with for pretty much everything. All right, back with you. Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN. If you'd like to join us, by all means do that. I know it's close to the top of the hour, but we're going to be doing the after show here. If you have not experienced the after show, well, boy, are you missing out. Got to get the Gun Dealio app for your phone, and you can listen to it off of that. You can also go to our website, guntalk.com. You can go, iTunes. We actually put the after show on YouTube. So you go to the Gun Talk page on YouTube, and you can listen to the after show there. If it's to say it's different doesn't quite explain it. You got to experience it to know what I'm talking about. I want to go all the way down to line 1. Let's visit with Frank out of Arnett, Oklahoma, a guy who just doesn't like 1911s. Frank, what's the problem here?
I only got 20 of them. I need another 80 of them.
So why? What is it about them?
Well, like you said, the trigger, you can, if you get something happens and you drop it, you still pick it up and it'll still keep functioning. Mm-hmm. And they're heavy enough that if you get close quarters, you can bounce somebody and with it on the noggin.
You know what else is good about them that people we don't talk about very often is they're pretty slim.
Oh, yeah. And, well, you know, I can use it inside the waistband, outside the waistband, shoulder holster. I can even, even though I'm not supposed to do it without a holster, I can put it in my jeans pocket and almost make it disappear and put a coat over it. But I've got Desert Eagle. I carry a Remington, not Remington, but Ruger 1911. I do have a couple of Remingtons, but I've got about 10 that are historic from 1913s all the way through World War II. And,
by the way, I have to tell you, I know you were talking with Michelle a little bit earlier before you got on, and she just wanted to let you know that 1911 was the year that the gun was adopted. It's not the target of how many you're supposed to own.
Okay. Oh, darn. Why not?
Okay, you have to stop at 1,000. I'm just saying.
Oh, okay. But
you know,
I also that you can get them in the short barrels, 3.5 inch, clear up to the standard, and
even 6-inch barrels.
Yeah, and I have a 9mm. Most of mine are the 45s, but I do want a 10mm, the Ruger 10mm 1911.
Oh, it's sweet. It is really sweet.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've been hearing you say that. And the Target 1911 45.
Yep. And of course, they've got the Target 10mm. You know what I would like to do? I'm looking at. I'm considering, and I know they're out there. I just got to pull the trigger, so to speak, on one. Is a carry version of a 10mm 1911.
Yeah.
I think get one with nice Novak type sights on it. I want to say 4-inch barrel, but I'd really hate to give up the velocity on a 10, so probably a 5-inch barrel, because the barrel length really doesn't matter if you're doing inside the waistband carry anyway, does it?
Right, especially with alien gear or crossbreed, either one.
Yeah, you get a good holster and a good belt, and it works. So there you go. Frank, I appreciate it. You only got 20, man. I want another report from you as soon as you can bulk that up to a reasonable number. Good grief. Pretty fun. Yeah, a guy doesn't like 1911s. Only got 20 of them. Working on 80. I think that's the deal. I think let's think about that. I mean, there are going to be a lot of cool guns. And by the way, tomorrow, Monday, midday, check out our Facebook. Go ahead and like us on Facebook because we're going to have news. We're going to have a live video of a new product, new firearm. We're going to have that for you, and you'll be the first to know. You'll be the smartest guy or gal in your group because you'll know about this new gun because you just saw it on our live feed. So check it out, Gun Talk on Facebook. In the meantime, go out and do some shooting and go handle one of those 1911s. It's going to cost you money.